So when we say, if you want to become a dentist, what are the essential qualities that is required for a dentist? If you ask me personally, we don't need any quality to be a dentist, because nobody is a born dentist, nobody is a born engineer, nobody is a born doctor. So all the qualities and whatever it takes to be a good dentist, it is acquired. Once we join into the course, we will be undergoing a rigorous course throughout our 4 years or 5 years or 5 plus 3 years, and that's how we become the a good dentist or a good specialist in dentistry. So, but in on a general note, what qualities and skills that is expected out of you is, uh, on a general note, the ability to follow safety procedures. So these procedures and this ability to follow safety procedures comes over a period of time. As and when we start practicing, we get to know what are the do's and don'ts of our practice. So no, there is no dentist who will not make mistake related to the safety procedures. We all learn by our mistakes. So it is the ability to follow the safety procedures, especially during the situation like this pandemic, that is very important. So it is better to imbibe these abilities from the beginning, so that we don't have to come across or we don't have to face any problems even in worst case scenarios like this. Then the analytical skills, the analytical what is this analytical skill? See, what happens is a patient comes to you with some problem, but it will have the similar symptoms of some other problem, or you can say two different problems will be there, but there are two different problems with the overlapping symptoms. So it is you, with your analytical skill and the diagnosis skill, that you will be able to diagnose it properly. The reason why I'm saying analytical skill is important is, unless you diagnose it properly, you will not be able to treat. So that's why you have to have a good analytical skill. Then comes is the compassion towards old, the compassion towards kids, then the compassion towards poor. So all these things are important features of a dentist. Okay, so when you want to be a, if you ask me who is a good dentist, um, the 50% of the qualities are the way you treat them, the way you speak to them, the way you communicate with them. That is, with a lot of compassion, with the care, if you speak to them, half the problem will be solved. Then the other 50% is your treating capacity, the treating ability. Then comes is the critical thinking. You have to think critically about any problem. Unless otherwise you think critically, you cannot come to a proper diagnosis. And you should be able to think critically, because unless you think critically, you will not be able to come to a proper diagnosis and proper treatment. Then you have to have a good memory. Um, I'll tell you an example about the good memory. Usually, when my patients walk in, I try to remember something about them, even if they come after 5 years or 6 years or 8 years, something, anything uh, related to dentistry or not related to dentistry. It might be something related to their family, their kids, their parents, anything related to them. It You mention about that, then they feel that this doctor knows me. He remembers so much about me. So it is very important to know about their um, personal things, or that is on one aspect, and the other aspect, you should be able to um, know what you have treated. No doubt, we have so many softwares wherein we can generate whatever the treatment we have done. We can extract everything, but it's the as a person, it's your memory which uh, is very important. Um, to be on the other side, again, the patients usually what happens is they would have got so many treatment done, and they will not know what treatment you have done. They would have went to so many dentists, but the moment you see that, you should be able to recall or recollect and say, okay, this is not done by me. This has been done by me. So this is how it is. So the good memory, it matters. Then humbleness, yes. Uh, on a general note, everybody should be humble. Yes, as a dentist, you should be humble. Then interpersonal skills. Where does this interpersonal skills? The interpersonal skills matters when you are practicing. When you are practicing, the interpersonal skills means, see, as a dentist, you cannot do everything. You have to have an assistant, okay, and you have to have a junior doctor. So in the long run, when you start your practice, so the way you speak to your assistants, the way you speak to the person who is helping you, so you don't have to talk. You have to develop the interpersonal skill in such a way that just with your eye movement you should be able to convey to them. And if your assistants are good, okay, half of your problem is solved. So that's how you develop interpersonal skill with them. Then kindness, yes. The management skills, yes. Management skill is very important. You starting from student, as the managing your instruments, the managing your materials, managing your studies. Okay, and when you become a dentist, it's like managing your practice. I always tell to my friends, um, running a practice or managing the practice is like running a family. You have to get everything, you have to make sure that everything is in place and when you need the most. Then comes is the manual dexterity. The manual dexterity means the way your hand movement works. Okay, there has to be a good coordination between your brain and the hand. So, uh, if you don't know, then you cannot work. That's why we say it is very important to analyze or think critically. And if you know, your brain works and automatically you'll be able to, your hand moves. If you don't know, then your hand doesn't move. Then you have to have patience. Yes, to be a good. Whenever my friends say they're starting the practice, then I wish them, uh, wish you all the best with God bless you with lot of patience and patience. So you need to be a good practitioner. Yes, you have to have a lot of patience, but at the same time, if you don't have patience, in the long run you are going to lose all your patience. So that's how it is. Then the presenting skills. Yes, this is one of the important features of dentistry. See, what happens is, you know what is the problem, but again, it you know what is there in the textbook, but only the patient will understand only when you explain it to them in the way they understand. That is how you present it in the common man's term, in the local language, and in the way they understand. Why saying presenting skills is important is, if I give a same problem for an adult, for an adolescent, and for a old patient or a geriatric patient, you cannot explain it to them the same problem in the same manner. So it is the way you put it across to them. That's how they understand. That's when they'll understand. That's how I say the presenting skills are important. Then comes is the problem solving. Yes, problem solving is I would say when the patient comes, you one patient comes with many problems. They say they have problem pain here, they have some problem here. Okay, so you have the end. The patient says you treat me this for this also for this also. Then it's you who have to take a call. You have to prioritize what is to be done first. Okay, if the patient is having a pain on the this side and you start doing the treatment on the other side, then they'll not accept it. So the prioritization, and based on the priority, you the problem solving ability is what is more important. Then the scientific aptitude. This is the last point, but it's not the least point. Why we are saying scientific aptitude is the dentistry is very it's it is driven by technology, and the technology makes you learn new techniques. So if you are not up to date, then you'll be out of your practice. The reason why I'm saying out of your practice is, now most of the patients who come to us, they would have googled their problem. They know what it is, and half the time they will know what the problem is, and to some extent they'll know what the treatment also is, what is their treatment, what the treatment they require also. So if you are not up to date with the scientific aptitude, if you don't have a scientific aptitude, then you'll not be updating yourselves. And if you're not up to date, then the day might come where the patient will be explaining it to you and you will not know a few things. So we should not come to that stage. So it is very important to have a scientific aptitude, good scientific aptitude, positive scientific aptitude, to know what are the latest things that is here. Then I would say again, I said learning is a constant skills. Constant learning is a constant thing, and the skills have to be acquired. So what happens is, I have been practicing for so many years, and then uh, what I was practicing 10 years back might not be the same, might not be right now, because with the development of technology, so many things are changing fast. So if I say what I did during my during my graduation, if I say I'll do the same thing, then no, it is not right. You have to update yourself, you have to acquire new knowledge, and it is a continuous learning process. So that's why we conduct something called as continuing dental education. And the best thing about this continuing dental education is, you can see a person with 5 years experience and a person with 50 years experience. So everybody wants to learn. Everybody wants to be updated with the latest, that is technology that is available. So it's a constant learning skill. And then you have to learn. You have to acquire the latest technology and the techniques that is available in the market.